This is a difficult subject to discuss. Suffering. Why do people suffer? Especially, some people makes it even harder to accept when we see children in hospital wards that are suffering and that are in pain. We don't quite understand it. Why do we have to endure suffering? And where does it come from? And there's a suggested advice as to enable one to accept it with love. And that is that if one sees an affliction befalling him, he should examine his deeds. It doesn't mean that that person has done anything wrong, as in the case of the child in the hospital. We don't quite understand the need or the source of that suffering. Suffering is a difficult test that we have to go through. But here's an example that you might think about. Imagine in a palace lived an awesome king who, out of his immense love for his only son, who will become a prince one later and once the new king. Imagine that this king, now having to personally wash him off of the filth that this little boy got from playing in the garden. When one becomes aware of the great love that the king has for his child, we realize that what he's doing for him is out of great necessity. I'm not suggesting that the things that have happened or that are happening in the world today to any one of us, especially those, unfortunately, who are suffering, that there's a reason for it. Somewhere in the heavens, there may be an explanation, but here on earth, it's hard to see. And as it says, the face reflecting in the water, which is reflecting the person, so is the heart of man to man. We know that. We realize it. And so we accept it. Enduring suffering is not so simple. But it's a test that we have to go through. Something that has to be there. Something for whatever reason that we must realize. But if you perceive and understand the preciousness of the nature of where it comes from, it might make it easier. Thank God, however, the severity is ultimately reduced and benevolence comes along the way. All suffering ends at one point. All difficulties end at one point. All challenges and obstacles at one point in time, they're reduced and they go away. So many stories can be told about suffering over the ages. I'm suggesting that we focus on the love and the good things. And while you right now might not be suffering, there's someone out there who is suffering. What we can do is pray for them and hope and wish the best for them. We can also see perhaps if we can help them. Whatever the challenge may be, is there something we can do to help them? Once we do that, we become part of their help, part of their salvation. It's not always possible, but we could try. And this will make this world a better place for all of us.
If you like what you've heard, please let us know by leaving a comment below. We would really appreciate if you would be kind enough to like, share, and even subscribe. Feel free to follow us on Facebook.